Hi, it's Sunday the 21st of November. We're back with SDL. What I've got in front of me now is just the weekly chart where we're just going to run over a few things first just to jog everyone's memories. I've had quite a few requests to do another video on this, and sorry I haven't got around to doing it until now, but I haven't had a lot of time. I do not trade this stock. Actually, I'm doing these videos for a few friends of mine. I've reset the fib set to the overall fibs, so overall time fib. And what we see, what's happened here, this here was the fib projections we threw, okay, from this high back down to the low there, and it threw up the 161 here. That target has been met, and now it should be on its way to the next target, but we're just going to see if it's going to go there quickly or if it's going to take some time. The next target being up here at 44 cents, okay, which is the 261. Okay, so that's just the weekly there. Just to refresh your memories, we were looking at that golden cross, and that has started to happen on the weekly chart. And we were talking about one being on the daily as well. So I'll just pause this and I'll come back with the daily. Just back here with the daily, and the fib set I was talking that we've just gone to the overall. Notice it throws the 161 up along here, up along this line. And after hitting our 161 target here, our 161 here, the 61.8 along here is now providing resistance, okay? It's a bit of an interesting thing. So to bear that in mind, that's why it's just had a little stop here. This chart's looking pretty messy, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and clean it up. But I left all this on here because we were talking about it before. The Andrews pitchfork here, it has failed the bottom line here, okay? It's also failed on this speed and resistance line here as well. Also the little pennant that we had in here, and we were expecting it to break up from here, failed, okay, again, but funnily enough its target was 34 cents, and it did hit it afterwards, so it's quite obviously I just drew my pennant wrong. Then is what you can look at, but I'll get rid of all that stuff and I'll come back and we'll talk about it. Okay, it's a lot cleaner now, okay, and basically what we need to have a look at here is I've just drawn a fib from the start of this last little run in here, okay, up until the top, up here, which was a definite candle top. It's thrown the reverse 161 back down here to the start of the run, so that's pretty much a perfect fib set, I would tend to think. And don't forget that this one's the fib projection, okay, that was the target projection. The thing that concerns me with the chart at the moment again is the rolling over of the 7-day, okay, and whether it's just going to roll down here back underneath the 14 in red here as it did just back here, bounce off the 30-day in yellow, which could be on the cards, okay. The little standard error band is still heading down, and that would make it, you know, a couple of days of sort of basically sideways to a nothing type movement is what I'd be tending to thinking of there. We used these before because they were lines of support, and when we see the weekly chart you'll see why, and that was at the 30 cents, the 29.5, and back down here roughly around 28.5, okay, and we'll see the reasons why. We're just going to have a quick look at the daily charts. There's that fib top there. Daily charts indicators, okay. Now indicators, basically what has happened here on the MACD, it's turned and come back off. Okay, we thought we might get a little bit of divergence off this line. It didn't happen, and it pretty much got into an oversold situation, and then it bounced back up again, hit the top of that line, and it's come back down. Same thing happening here with our SCOTH. It's back on the way down, and our DEMA as well. Whether we get some divergence off this white line on the DEMA is yet to be seen. We tried to get a little short entry kicking here, but by the red pointing down now, I'd say that it looks to me as if she wants to come back off, and whether it's to come off and do that sideways, we'll have a look at the weekly and just see what that's going to tell us. Okay, we're back with the weekly chart again here now, and as we can see, that fib is what's held us up here. What we've got to notice on the weekly and on the weekly candles is that they seem to be just trading within this range. Now, one thing that does bother me a little bit about the weekly at the moment, this was like an up thrust or a hanged man come spinning top, okay, and we had an off and then an inverted hammer back up. This again looks to me more like a spinning top. Whether this is a hammer up and it wants to go back up, or it turns out to be a hanged man, and that's a change of trend, okay, or a change of direction, which could be short term, could be long term. The little standard error band is tending to tell me that it wants to go this way, but looking at the bottoms on these and the tails on the last few candles, I think basically what we're sort of looking at, this is like an accumulation period, and stock is being accumulated here. Basically, and I'd probably be suspecting more sideways to anything, and I'd be suspecting that this blue line that we've put in here would be our first call as far as support goes, okay, and that's basically there again, that number 28.5. I'm just going to put a fib on it from the entirety of the run from here right up to here on this run, and we'll see what we end up with, which is just up there up on the top. And first fib is lining up with our blue line of the 28.5. The second is back here at 25, but more than anything that looks like accumulation to me. So we're just going to have a look here, and this is, don't forget, we're only phase 2 part way through this golden cross at the moment. That's if it plays out totally, okay? So have a look at the weekly indicators and just see what we can see now. Our MACD up here is pretty high at the moment, and she's curling over. Basically the one. Scoth is much the same. We're up around about 90 and it's turning over, whether it does something like it did back here before it does a sideways movement. Also, our DEMA up here is in the 60s, and we've had a short exit signal on the weekly chart. So I'd be expecting this to turn and maybe even go sideways to down, and it could be retesting that 28.5, somewhere around about there is what I'd be tending to thinking at the moment. Also, fundamentally, I know nothing about this stock. I wouldn't have a bloody clue what they're doing. I read a fair bit about it in the papers and what have you when we had that horrible plane crash and things like that. But as far as else goes, we'll just have to find out. And I think we're going to have some sideways to off unless we have higher opens next week and a higher close next week. Would tend to make that standard error band want to go straight through then. Okay, so directions it can take it straight through like that. Okay, with higher opens and closes next week, say up around about the 30 mark would do it. Or if it comes off, well, it can just roll over, come down and try bouncing around this area here. But anyway, yeah, that's about my thoughts on it at the moment. I can't really see any big nasties in it. So I'd just trade safe with it. And if you're a long-term holder, I think it's more of an accumulation period than anything else. But yeah, that's me. Okay, thank you.